Hello. For this week's video discussion, the first prompt with my last name is imagine and describe a work situation where positive effect would be more effective in accomplishing key tasks. Imagine and describe a work situation where negative effect would be more effective in accomplishing key tasks. So, for the first part of that question, the situation I came up with would be um, if a marketing department of a company needs to develop a new and effective ad specifically targeting the younger generation, specifically artists or creators. Um, Now, a positive effect basically means positive emotions such as excitement, self assurance, and cheerfulness as depicted by our textbook. So, in this specific situation with the marketing department, the way that a positive effect could be more effective on the employees in this situation is these positive emotions or having a positive environment with these types of upbeat emotions could um, lead to improved and enhanced creativity of the team, which would make help make a better ad because more creative ads, more different ads than what's already running is going to improve the efficacy of the ad, as well as increased motivation throughout the team, which leads to maybe higher productivity levels and maybe accomplishing the goals quicker, and then an improved sense of collaboration among team members. So, anybody that's ever worked in an office environment with a team, you know that higher levels of collaboration definitely not only improve the work environment, but lead to higher levels of productivity and more kind of brainstorming and collaborative thinking. So that's how positive effect would be more beneficial to that situation. So for negative effect, I thought of a situation where an IT department of a company is dealing with a data breach that released personal client data. So, how the negative effect, which is described in our book as emotions such as lethargy, boredom, and depression. So, some ways that I guess the negative emotions could affect this situation is these types of environments and situations can help us sharpen our critical and analytical thinking skills, encourage more thoroughness and thoughtfulness in our work, and also promote a focus and attention to detail. So, through those things, it would be beneficial to this specific situation because we're dealing with a situation that rather than responding emotionally, it might be better suited to respond analytically because of the sensitivity of the situation. We would want to have our analytical brains on and have the team focused on more analytical and thorough thought process than a more open-minded creative thought process in the first option. For the second prompt pertaining to my last name for this week, assume you're the manager of a team of employees and your team is experiencing a lot of stress due to the demands of the job. Do you feel that changing your management style would be an optimal solution for helping your team cope with the stress and ultimately perform better? I think that there are several ways to kind of tackle this, but simply put, I think that if the management style is more heavy on team members doing most of the workload, then maybe a change up of management style would help. For example, in a situation where let's say you're the manager of a team in a specified department, and you become aware that your team is overwhelmed or stressed because there are maybe a lot of projects going on and a lot of demands at the same time. Maybe your team is understaffed. Maybe you don't have the technology or the equipment to get done all of the projects or all of the tasks at hand. Maybe you don't have the resources that you need. So I think from that standpoint, changing the management style could be beneficial, because if the manager is currently more hands off, maybe switching to a more like hands on, helping your team situation would be better. Because when a manager actually steps in and, gets on the ground with their team and puts in work and kind of assists in the tasks at hand rather than just, you know, delegating from afar, not only does that add another, body and another brain to the work to help, complete tasks, but it also shows your team that you're a team player, that you don't think you're better than them, that you're willing to participate. And that in and of itself will improve morale, it'll improve productivity, it'll improve, work, positive work ethic amongst the crew. So yes, that's what I think.